Couple accidentally unearths a mysterious 5,300-year-old iceman while hiking in the Alps. But before we start, please give the video a like and make sure to subscribe to Wonderbot and hit the bell so you'll never miss any uploads from us. The heights of mountains and the depths of oceans hide so many secrets that humans are yet to discover. Sometimes what scientists keep on looking for years is found by the common man in most unexpected places. This story is about one such big-time mysterious discovery made by a couple who was just trying to enjoy their holiday. Helmut and Erika's holidays will be ending up completely opposite to what they initially planned, and trust us, you can't guess what they found up in the mountains. German couple Helmut and Erika Simon were planning for a special trip for a long time. It was going to be a trip to their hometown, in other words, Nuremberg, in the Alpine region. It's located on the Italy-Austria border. The couple was planning a soothing trip, but it will be nothing close to an ordinary holiday. What they discovered was misunderstood by everyone at first, but as soon as this mystery started to unravel, all the things including the curse, the theory, and the mystery behind it started to become clear. The Simons were adventurous souls, and they were all set to go hiking on the mystical peaks of Alps. They wanted to spend some time far from everyone in the beautiful mountain region. To have some quality time while hiking across the woods, snowy mountains till the highest point they were trying to reach. Unfortunately, they'll never be able to complete their hike. Who knew a chilling sight was waiting for them midway? On September 19, 1991, the couple started as per their usual hiking schedule, but they stopped to check on something that seemed off. From a distance, it looked like a little piece of wood popping out of the snow, but it was odd to find a wooden piece, particularly at such high altitude. When the Simons took a closer look, they knew it wasn't going to be a good day anymore. That morning, the Simons found a human corpse that was almost covered with snow. The corpse was lying in an upside-down position, and the left side was crossing rightwards under the body. The German couple was scared, and all sorts of negative thoughts surrounded them. They didn't know it was completely different from what they assumed it to be. Helmut and Erika Simon thought it was some mountaineer who had died while hiking and was never able to make it back to his home. But this was a mystery much deeper than that. It wasn't a mountaineer then. What was it? The couple believed in signs strongly, and after seeing this, there was no point of continuing the trek. Rather, the couple did what they thought to be the wisest to do. They informed the local police about the encounter, and when the authorities reached on the reported spot, they understood it was not a common thing to happen, and that they'll need specialists to take a look at it. The police needed to solve this mystery, but the solution to this was not only out of their hands, but also out of their knowledge. Even the Austrian police department thought it to be a lost mountaineer. They were thinking it to be a tragic accident in which the mountaineer had lost his life or her life. The police couldn't do it alone, and they'll need some help of a local lodgekeeper. The plan was to dig the ice and bring out the corpse and take it to the plain region for further research. However, it wasn't going to be a smooth process at all. The extraction team didn't know what they were dealing with. They started the work of digging around the corpse using a small-sized jackhammer and several ice axes. They were only able to remove one layer of hard ice, and the weather started to change. The sky was covered with dark clouds as a ferocious storm appeared out of nowhere. Due to the freezing storm, the amateur excavators who were assigned the job of digging out the body stopped the work and had to take shelter in the nearest, safest place they could find. Similar kind of situation forced them to leave the job in between. When they gave up and reached back to the city, the police had to bring in some experts to get a hold of the body before it gets lost in the snow. On the very next day, 8 teams of several expert mountain climbers, along with a team of specialized archaeologists, reached the reported location to complete the work. Even they remained unsuccessful in removing the corpse from the ice. Stopping the work during the storm and excavating the body, even in chilling temperature, it took them 3 days to get the body out of the ice. The moment they thought their work was done, the team realized that it was far from getting over. The body wasn't alone. As the body had been covered in ice, it was hard to tell for everyone how old it actually was. To their surprise, there was something bigger that was buried under the ice on the side of the body. Hoping it would be something related to the corpse, they decided to dig further to bring it out. As if the figure in itself was less mysterious, that there was more to be discovered. This mysterious body was covered with clothing made out of animal skin and sown grass. It was the type of dressing no mountaineer would prefer. Yet everyone was coming up with different theories and more. But all these theories were about to break into pieces the very moment the other objects were taken out of the ice. Eventually, the teams were able to excavate all the items that lay underneath the ice with the human corpse. There were many unique tools along with other weapons. A mountaineer would have only one tool with him. In other words, a carabiner. Not any of these people were able to dig out. Certainly, it wasn't any mountaineer's corpse, or if it was, then why would he bring all these useless stuff for hiking? As the unusual corpse was removed from the ice, the responsibility was now on the police department to take it to the right place. The authorities shipped the corpse and everything else that was discovered with it to a known morgue in Innsbruck, Austria, the location that will be revealing some unexpected truths about the corpse. The corpse, along with all the tools and weapons, were carefully shipped to Innsbruck for further steps to be followed for reviewing the mysterious discovery. Within a week of this shipment reaching the morgue, researchers made a press release that lighted up everyone's curiosity. Wondering what was revealed in the results? After staying buried under snow for don't know how long, the corpse was in good condition. For the same reason, nobody's guess was even close about the mysterious corpse. The researchers were divided into two teams. One team was going to test the corpse, and the other was going to test the tools and the weapons. The team that was working on the corpse was easily able to take samples for further examining. They did not just conduct one, not just two, but more than 6 tests in all. The scientists were left speechless when the final reports were out. They all knew from the beginning that there was something unusual about this corpse, but none expected it to be this sinister. While the scientists were still to make anything official, the story and the theories related to the corpse found on the Alps were grabbing huge attention, especially in Austria. The human corpse became one big-time news, and everyone was holding onto their breath for the results to be shared. And guess what? Even before the tests were out, the news world dubbed the corpse with an intriguing nickname. This discovery made headlines all across the globe. Everyone who heard of it was intrigued when the Australian journalist nicknamed the corpse Otzi the Iceman. He named it Otzi because it was discovered in the Alps. People wanted to know if it was a mountaineer's corpse or, indeed, Otzi the Iceman. From the University of Innsbruck, archaeologist Konrad Spindler studied the corpse, and the results were unbelievable. According to the results, Otzi was from an entirely different era. Otzi the Iceman was a historic mummy's remains that were from 3400 to 3100 BCE, the time span of the Bronze Age, and that isn't all. As Otzi the Iceman was nicely preserved, the researchers were able to lead a modern autopsy which made it clear that Otzi was more than 5,300 years old. This modern autopsy not only revealed the mummy's age, but also some facts that will change everyone's perspective of the Bronze Age. All the mummies that have been discovered in Egypt and its surrounding were highly damaged, and sometimes even completely ruined by the extremely hot weather. But Otzi the Iceman was called the wet mummy by the scientists, for the reason being the locations as well as the condition in which it was found. It was covered with glacier in a humid environment, and this kept not just the body but the organs inside as well as the skin unhurt for decades. After the close study and extensive examination, scientists were able to reveal the truths that weren't quite visible at the first look of the mummy. As per them, Otzi the Iceman was 45 years old when he died. His height was 5 foot 5 inches, and he weighed around 84 pounds. The researchers even conducted CAT scans, hair analysis, and even his tissues were examined, and blood samples were taken. The most surprising fact is yet to be mentioned. With every report, a clearer picture of what Otzi must have looked like was coming up. It didn't take long for the scientists to tell the story of his death, although the true story went unnoticed for over a decade. Also, that's when the scientists came up with this idea. Scientists even got to know what Otzi had eaten for the final time. More than 30 types of pollen were found in his stomach that specified that he either died during summer or winter. These pollens not only told about his death, but also made a difficult puzzle. These pollen types and the DNA analysis helped the researchers in telling that he ate the alpine ibex around 2 hours before taking his last breath. The easier the scientists tried to make it, the more complicated it became. Thanks to the freezing environment that preserved Otzi, the Iceman's remains, for so long, these scientists were able to find out a significant piece of information. It amused the readers who were showing a keen interest in Otzi's news update when they were informed about 61 tattoos that the Iceman had inked on his body from head to toe. On top of everything, these tattoos weren't even close to the type of needle and ink body art we're aware of today. These marks on his skin were made by a process of scratching charcoal in precise cuts that resulted in crossed and lines. These were crafted specifically on his joints or nearby. So scientists landed on the theory that these tattoos were the indication of the acupuncture points. What does that imply? If this theory is correct, it clearly means that the acupuncture treatment was discovered by men 2,000 years before the Chinese introduced it. Anyway, Otzi is the oldest human mummy to be discovered with tattoos on him. The other evidence showed a high level of copper and arsenic in Otzi's hair. Also, the axe blade they found along with him was made of copper. The scientist considers it to be there because he was a copper smelter. His health conditions were also revealed. After a full body health check, they were able to unravel the list of diseases that the Iceman suffered from. He had more than 40 health problems, including simple as well as complex issues. Otzi suffered from an intestinal parasite known as whipworm. It was also speculated that he fell ill at least 3 times in the last 6 months before his final day. He had one more serious disease. Otzi had a high risk of cardiovascular disease and lactose intolerance. He even suffered from Lyme disease, and this made him the oldest mummy to be discovered with an infectious bacterial disease. Even though so much was revealed, the actual reason for his death remained a mystery for more than 10 years. A new test was conducted in 2001 that became the last piece of the puzzle. What previously slipped out of all the tests was now revealed with the help of advanced technology. It was an arrowhead that struck him in his left shoulder. All the previous assumptions were deemed to be wrong, as neither did he die of illness nor because of the weather. Otzi the Iceman died of an arrowhead. To be more precise, he was murdered. This piece of information turned around the whole case. The arrowhead was shot from behind and pierced through his vital artery, which meant that Otzi would have died in some time due to excess loss of blood. More shocking fact was that this arrowhead was removed from the arm before Otzi died. Why was he killed? By whom? Were there more mummies buried under the snow on the Alps? Scientists had some astonishing explanations as to what might have taken place thousands and thousands of years ago. One of the theories said that he was killed because of some rage in local tribes. This is just one theory, and the other one is more heart-wrenching. Thinking of examples of Tallinn Man and Lindo Man, many anthropologists were ready to believe that Otzi the Iceman might have been sacrificed during some ritual. There are chances that he was on a reputable post in his tribe and someone had grown jealous, killed him. Possibilities of Otzi being all tied up before death are high too, as an injury on his hand indicated. It was time to call in a New Age detective. Detective Inspector Alexander Horn worked in Munich police, where explained the entire case. The inspector's observation changed the perspective of the case. Alexander mentioned that Otzi's body was in better condition than recent homicide victims I've worked on who've been found out in the open. The mystery was still far from over. When the mummy didn't give any further clue, the weapons did. Otzi the Iceman was buried underneath the ice with a field kit, leather and fur clothing, tools, arrows, knives, and a copper axe. What caught the inspector's attention was the fact that none of Otzi's belongings were stolen. A copper axe meant a lot during that era, and it wasn't taken away. This was making it clear that this murder was done for personal reasons. In 2012, a genome sequencing proved that Otzi's eyes were brown in color, and his blood group was O positive. A study that included more than 4,000 people showed that around 19 people had a specific genetic modification with Otzi. This further concluded that the 19 modern men were his descendants. Remember the Simons who at first informed the cops about Otzi? That couple too made news. A case was going on in the courtroom about the German couple's rights that entitled them to get the finder's fee according to Italy's law. In 1994, the Simon couple was offered 5,200 euros by the authorities, but the couple was determined to get what they deserved. They filed a suit in 2003 to validate their hand in Otzi's discovery, and the court finally had to agree that the couple was asking for the justified right. Again, it wasn't over yet. The Simons were declared as the official discoverers by the court. Also, they were awarded $300,000 as the finder's money. The local government was against it, and for years the case was stretched. An unfortunate incident took place within a year of the Simons claiming their money. 13 years after they discovered Otzi, the Simon couple died during a hiking trip. After staying missing for 8 days, the couple's bodies were finally found in the Austrian Alps near Salzburg. Even Konrad Spindler, the man who was the first scientist to examine Otzi, died. This led to rumors of Otzi being cursed. The mystery darkened soon after these two tragic incidents were interlinked. Till date, Otzi's been said to be the reason behind 7 deaths. The guide who helped in airlifting the mummy died in an avalanche. A journalist who was there all the time during the excavation died of cancer. And a forensic expert met a car crash while he was on his way to a conference related to Otzi. Well, there's no explanation if Otzi was behind any of these deaths because more than 100 people have been connected to the Iceman from the moment he was discovered till today. Would you like to know where this mysterious man resides now? Since 1998, Otzi is on display at the South Tyrol Museum of Archaeology in Bolzano, Italy. No doubt he's one of the major reasons for most of the visitors to visit the museum. Nowadays, people don't just get to see Otzi's mummy remains. Along with it, there's a 3D replica of Otzi the Iceman. Many people wonder how he looked during his living years. Also, the mummy got some records to his name. Otzi the Iceman has become Europe's oldest natural human mummy that's been known to us. To honor the really old man, a memorial was established at the location of his discovery. Even today, some mysteries surround the Iceman, and hopefully the future technology will help in solving them too.